Here I am at the National Portrait Gallery in London, where my painting, Self-Portrait at Low Tide, is one of 50 works that have been selected for the Herbert Freehills Portrait Award. This is a major milestone for me because I've entered this competition, formerly known as the BP Award, every year since 2008. And despite having made it through to the second round of judging 3 times before, this is the first time I've actually made it into the show. So I'd like to say a massive thank you to the judges for choosing my work, and congratulations to all the other artists involved. Being selected for a prestigious art competition like this one is a fantastic opportunity. It's one of the quickest ways an artist can gain recognition, but getting in is extremely difficult. As the popularity of representational art continues to grow, more and more talented artists from all over the world are entering these shows every year. Here I am with Ruth Fitton, one of the UK's most talented young portrait painters, whose work she's been a finalist in the American Portrait Society, Art Renewal Centre Salon, and many other prestigious shows. So how does it compare to being in the National Portrait Gallery?
I don't think there's a feeling quite like being in the National Portrait Gallery of your own country. It's quite something. It's quite a moment. Yeah.
Definitely. And would you have any advice for people entering competitions?
I do. My main advice is actually not to paint things specifically for competitions. I think the times I've tried to do that, I've always ended up with a piece that feels very forced. Whereas if I just enter the best piece I have available at the time of the competition entry, I'm much more likely to enter something which is true to myself and has the spontaneity and the risk-taking, which is unlikely to go into a piece that I prepare specifically to enter for a competition.
When entering these competitions, you could be up against some of the best painters in the world. A lot of very accomplished work gets rejected, and no matter how used to rejection you get, I can speak from experience when I say it's always incredibly disappointing, particularly after you've made it through to the second round of judging. That being said, if you're determined enough, there are a few strategies that will increase your chances of being selected. The first is simply to produce more work. There are many juried art shows. Some will allow you to enter more than just one painting. So the more you enter, the greater your chances are of getting in. Next, and this is even more important, is your work needs to be interesting. I reckon the main reason it took me so long to get my work into this competition is because I was too hung up on technique. I was more concerned with how I was painting, and I wasn't thinking enough about what I was painting. Other painters may admire your amazing brushwork, but the main thing the judges will be looking at is your subject matter. So what subjects captivate and interest you? It doesn't have to be deep and meaningful. It could just be an interesting composition. But with portraiture, there is usually some sort of narrative element involved, as we're drawn to the facial expression and the inner life of the sitter. I'm here with Tanya Bentley, the contemporary curator at the National Portrait Gallery. And I'd like to ask you, also one of the judges, what your criteria for, what you were looking for from the entries in this show.
So when we judge the Portrait Award, it's a completely anonymous process. So we don't know who the artist is. We don't really have much context for the work. It's very much a visual, an instinctual and emotive reaction to the work. We might be thinking about the artist's technical ability, their use of narrative, colour, texture. But overall, for me, what's important is that the artist has got to the heart of this encounter between the artist and the sitter.
And you try and have a kind of cross-section of different approaches, right?
Yeah, I think it would make for a little bit of a boring exhibition if every work looked similar. We definitely welcome a variety of types of portraiture, and we do try to reflect that in the show as well.
So if you happen to be in the UK, please do come and check out the show. It's free and it runs from the 11th of July through to the 27th of October at the National Portrait Gallery in London. There's a link in the description if you'd like to view the works online. Once again, I'd like to say a massive thank you to the judges and congratulations to all the other artists involved. And good luck to any of you guys who are planning to enter any competitions in the future.